So you hopefully got a first picture of what Node.js is and why we use it and what we use it for. Now typically and also what we do in this, we use Node.js to run it on a servers to write server-side code, and for that we have to have a look at the full picture. We have our users use a client computer with a browser, their mobile phone with a browser, even mobile apps, and we will come back to how Node.js can communicate with this later. But for now, let's stick to the traditional browser picture. We get our users using the browser, and there we can use HTML, CSS, and JavaScript and the browsers to create web pages. Now they visit a page, mypage.com, and they send a request to do so. For example, by entering a URL in the browser, a request is sent to that URL. These servers comes into play. We got our server, some computer running in the internet, which is automatically resolved for us, and on that server, we then want to execute some code that does something with the incoming request and returns a response, often but not necessarily always, as you will learn. This response is HTML page, which the browser then in turn can display. By the way, it's not necessarily just HTML, it's also things like CSS files and JavaScript files with JavaScript code for the browser, not for the server. Now on the server, we typically do tasks that we can or don't want to do from inside the browser for performance or security reasons. We connect to databases, for example, to fetch and store data. We do user authentication, which we obviously can do only on a place the user can access to make it more secure and avoid it being hacked. We do it for input validation to see if the user enter a correct email address. The browser can always be tricked. Users can even edit the browser side code. You can open the developer tools and start working on that page your own, but server is of course shut off from that. The user can access it, and in general, we have our business logic on the server. Everything our user shouldn't see, which takes too much time to run in the browser, where we obviously want to deliver a fast user experience or anything of that kind. And that is where we use Node.js, so also JavaScript code, but this time not on the browser but on the server. And this is where we use the many features Node.js gives us, and this is how we indirectly allow our users to work with the server through that request response pattern. The direct access is not available, so this is how we will use Node.js and this also. So we will use it to write code on the server that returns data our users, our clients can work with. Now, one important side note at this point of time, Node.js is not limited to running code on the server. It's a JavaScript runtime. We can execute any JavaScript code with Node.js, and often that is code that runs on the server and it's executed upon incoming request. But you also often use Node.js for other code, for example for local utility scripts or build tools. If you work with, let's say, React or Angular or Vue or anything of that kind, you actually use Node.js indirectly a lot for all the build process. These languages are framework needed because Node.js is a great tool for writing utility scripts. You have access to the file system, so you can write and read and manipulate files, and this allows you to do a lot of utility stuff on your computer that is never exposed to the public. In general, that is the most popular thing you do with the Node.js. You use it in the context of a web development and server-side code, so you use it to run a server, and actually that is an important difference to PHP. For example, with Node.js, you don't just write the code that is running on your server, you also write the server yourself, so the code does take the incoming request, route them to your other code. In PHP, you have extra tools like Apache or Nginx, which run the servers, which listen to incoming requests and then execute your PHP code. Here, Node.js does both. It does that listening, and it then also does whatever you want to do in your code. So that's important, and that's something you will see in action. We also use it, or we therefore also use it to run all our business logic. So not just to listen to incoming requests, but to then work with the request data, work with the files, work with the database, all the fun stuff Node.js is capable of. And we also handle the response side, not just incoming requests. We will also learn how we use Node.js to send back data to our clients, be that HTML pages with the dynamic content, or data only in the format of JSON or XML or even files. So this is what we use Node.js.